Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een, amma ba'd. So we continue, bi'awnillah, taking from the speech of our Shaykh Sālih al-Fawzān, حفظه. May Allah preserve the Shaykh. Regarding some of the issues concerning manhaj, the correct application, the correct understanding, the aqidah, clarifying the positions of Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah from those who have been afflicted with the beliefs of the Khawarij, and highlighting the differences. So this particular question here, the questioner says, هناك من يدعو الشباب وبخاصة في الإنترنت إلى خلع البيعة لولي الأمر هذه البلاد. He says that there's an individual who invites the youth, and they do this specifically on the internet, to leaving their allegiance to the Wali al-Amr of this land, to the ruler of this land. They get on the internet and they give their da'wah, and one of the things that they focus on is prompting the youth to drop their allegiance, to abandon their allegiance to the ruler. وَسَبَبُ ذَلِكَ, and the reason for this, or the cause of this, وجود البنوك الربوية وكثرة المنكرات الظاهرة في هذه البلاد. The quote-unquote justification for their da'wah and why they call the youth to abandon their allegiance to the rulers is the presence of Riba-based banks and an abundance of evils, apparent evils, in this land, in this country. Things that are taking place that are unbefitting, which, of course, this is in every place, every corner of the earth. There's things that are happening that are not from that which Allah would be pleased with, right? Specifically mentioned here are Riba-based banks in the Muslim lands and apparent wrongdoings in whatever country this is, whether it's Saudi, whether it's Misr, whether it's Morocco, whether it's Jazair, whether it's Mali, whether it's Senegal. The Muslim majority lands are not free from having corruption among the common people, among the leader. This is Allah Musta'an. This is just where we're at in the times that we're living in, right? So because of these ills in society, they call the youth to to abandon their allegiance to the rulers. فَمَا تُوجِيهُكُمْ حَفِظَكُمُ اللَّهُ. So what is your guidance concerning this? May Allah preserve you. The Shaykh, he says in his response, he says, توجيهنا أن هذا كلام باطل ولا يقبل. He says our guidance concerning this is that this is falsehood. This speech is false, and it's unacceptable. It's not accepted. لأنه يدعو إلى الضلال, because they are calling to misguidance. ويدعو إلى تفريق الكلمة. They are calling to discord, disunity. Tafriq, causing division of the kalima, of the statement. This would be the, in my best take it, a literal translation, but this kalima, the statement here, is the La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, that statement which unites the believers, right? Tafriq al-kalima, causing discord, causing disunity, causing disruption. Breaking up the believers over issues that are not from those affairs which we would separate or drop our allegiance to the ruler in the Muslim land for, because of these reasons. So he says, وَهَذَا يَجِبُ الْإِنْكَارُ عَلَيْهِ. It's a must that this be inkar, that it be rejected. هَذَا يَجِبُ الْإِنْكَارُ عَلَيْهِ. It's a must that this be rejected. وَيَجِبُ الرَّفْضُ كَلَامُهُ. That this speech be rejected. وعدم الالتفات إليه, and that it not even be paid attention to, that you don't even look its way, that you ignore it. لأنه يدعو إلى الباطل, because this one with this da'wah, it is a da'wah of batil. They are calling to falsehood, futility. ويدعو إلى المنكر, and they are calling to harm and corruption, calling to evil. ويدعو إلى الشر وفتنة, calling to evil and trial and tribulation, calling to sedition. ووجود المنكرات, this is the key right here. The Shaykh, he ends with this final statement. He says, ووجود المنكرات في البلد لا يقتضي كفر الحكام. He says the presence of evils in a society, or in a land rather, this does not necessitate the disbelief of the rulers. If you see evils or ills in a society, it does not mean, and it does not necessitate, it doesn't justify making takfīr of the ruler. You can't just say, oh, they have riba-based banks, they have cinemas, they're inviting such and such entertainer, he must be a kafir. Allahu musta'an. How bold are the people behind screen names, behind keyboards and behind monitors, behind cell phones, chat groups? How bold are they to just delve into these areas, these dangerous areas, to make takfīr, general takfīr? If they do this, then they must be this. If they allow this, then they must be this. Right? They must be disbelievers. Right? This is extremely dangerous, and anybody that carries this ideology has been afflicted with the ideology of who? Of the Khawarij. These ills and these, they're wrong. Nobody would agree. Nobody would say that it's no problem. It's a problem. But it does not necessitate that the ruler, first off, that they think that it's okay, that they consider these riba banks halal. We don't know that. We don't know that this is we can't assume that this is the case, that because they allow these banks that they must assume that it's permissible. We can't assume that because they allow these banks that they must believe that it's better than what Allah revealed, and it's better than what the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam came with. We can't assume this. If we don't have clear-cut speech from these rulers stating things like this, then nobody has the right to declare them to be disbelievers. And people take it even farther to say that the people in those lands, just because they're in those lands, or the scholars that are in those lands, who may be the furthest people, they might be the furthest removed from having knowledge of these things. Some of these scholars are so far removed, and I say this in a good way, not in a blameworthy way, that they don't know what's going on around them, but they are so dedicated to learning the ilm al-shar'i that they're not aware of these political things that have been going on, which is safer, because most of the time when the people talk about this happened and these people took over this land and they made a pact, and that's why this, and they get carried away and they're talking about things that they can't ascertain with certainty. So they're making these stances based on something that they don't have yaqeen in, and then they're going into an arena of takfīr, making it general, making mass takfīr on societies. This is extremely dangerous. The presence of these harms and these ills and these wrongdoings, these evils in the society does not necessitate that the rulers are kufār. And how bold are the people to take it to this extent? But when we look at it up close and personal in our own environment, in our own homes, we are much more gentle. I say we, not as in us, but the people that, us, the Muslims, those afflicted from the Muslims with this type of thought. I would be almost sure, I could be almost sure that when it comes to their family members, within their household, their parents, their uncles, their nephews, their cousins, that they are much more easygoing, much more willing to make excuses for them. You know, many of us in the West, we came to Islam. Allah called us to Islam. We don't have a background culturally growing up knowing about Islam. So we have family members that are Kufār. May Allah guide them all. What's the position we're supposed to take with them? Right? Many people who came, they may have been born and raised upon Islam, but it was a corrupted Islam. They could have been raised upon tasawwuf. They could have been raised upon whatever. And then Allah guided them to the Sunnah. So they have these family members. The majority of their family could still be Tijani, whatever. How are they supposed to deal with them? Are they supposed to make takfīr on them? Or are they supposed to be gentle with them? Call them to the truth. Many of these people with these takfīris, they probably have family members that, or it's possible that they have family members that are lazy when it comes to prayer, are lazy when it comes to fulfilling the obligations. Maybe they pray every now and then sometimes they don't pray. Maybe they don't practice Islam except in Ramadan, right? Perhaps they're more patient with these family members, as they should be. But when it comes to the rulers, they're supposed to be perfect. We expect the rulers to bring Jannah to earth and rectify all the ills and all the problems in the world. And then because they're not able to do that, we doubt their whole Islam. We call for corruption. We call for evil to take place, to revolt against the rulers, to declare them to be disbelievers. Wallahu musta'an. The presence of ills and wrongdoing in a society does not necessitate that the rulers are Kufār. And if you have this type of thought, if you have this type of mentality, busy yourself with what benefits. Study the Quran, study the Sunnah, study the way of the Sālih, and leave propaganda, leave sensationalism. Allah musta'an. May Allah guide us all, protect us, put us on that which He loves and is pleased with. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وسبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك جزاكم الله خيرا.